All right, welcome to episode 50 of the Pro Grow Baduk Weiqi podcast. I am Dai. We have Gaza in the room as well. Gaza, say hi.
Hello, it's me.
Yeah, it's you in the room virtually. Gaza, this is a not so big episode, I think, but we're going to cover the Judan Game 2 in Japan and some Chinese news, some of them involving Koje. And we'll talk about a new champion coming out of Taiwan and some Korean league stuff and maybe some other Korean news.
What was
And
that Korean league?
yeah, I'm not sure. Well, it's some Korean news stuff that you cover.
Oh, that's interesting that you mentioned that because the Korean league is actually on now.
Oh, nice.
I'll post the link in the chat. If
Yeah.
anyone, because you did say this was not an exciting episode, so maybe the Korean league will be more exciting.
Well, I didn't exactly say it's not exciting, but there's bigger things to come in May. Let's just put it this way.
Well, I think there's stuff to talk about this
All
week.
right. Yeah.
I think a
So
few things have happened.
yeah, a few things have happened. So let's start looking at the Judan, which is one of the big 7 titles in Japan.
Oh, it's a major title in Japan. That's right.
Yep. It's one of the there's 7 of them, but 3 of them are bigger, and then there's 4 smaller ones. This is one of the smaller ones.
This one
And
actually has the lowest prize money of the seven
lowest,
majors.
is the prize money even lower than the what's it called, the Yuan Cup, which is a women's tournament? I'm not sure. Maybe.
It's actually lower than some. I think the Kiriyama Cup, which is not a major
Mm.
in Japan, has more prize money.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Um,
But um,
it's
it is a major, and the Judan stands for Tendan.
yeah.
So whoever wins it gets the Tendan title. It's an honorary title,
Mm.
but obviously, the highest pro rank you can get is 9 Dan. So,
Yeah.
so technically, whoever wins it has a higher, higher rank than everyone else.
Yeah, but definitely not. In terms of prestige, you'll be drowned out by your Meijin and your Kisei and your Honimbo. So, Gaza, I believe Hsu Chiayuan is the current Judan. I
That's
believe.
right, and
I believe
he's
this is
defending it
this is also
against.
his first major title. Oh, okay,
No, it's not his first
no,
major title. He
no,
won
it's not.
the Gosei, I believe.
Yeah, he won something before that and lost it the very next year. So okay, so this is, I believe this might be Hsu Chiayuan's only title at the moment.
It's the only one that. Wait, let me just check.
Yeah,
It's the only major that he currently holds.
yeah.
Um, uh, but he's also the current TK Cup champion.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a restricted tournament. So in this
Yes,
one,
and he actually won that against Shibano
oh, very nice.
Toramaru.
Yeah.
Yes.
So of course, Hsu Chiayuan, Shibano Toramaru, and Ichiriki Ryo are the 3 crows. So basically, the top 3 players of this generation, the generation after Yama. So you do expect them to meet very regularly in title matches, and this is again no exception. We got Shibano challenging Hsu Chiayuan for the title. In game 1, I do believe Shibano had won, and this is game 2. Um,
Yes, game
and
two.
yeah, it's game 2. So we just went through some pictures. Actually, a lot of the pictures are basically Kifus. I'm not sure why. This one, I don't know what to say about it. When I first saw this, it felt like they were like 2 characters coming out of manga. Uh, but I don't know. That's just maybe my feel. Gaza, you mentioned that this game is a bit hard to understand.
Yeah, not. I didn't find it.
Very
It
exciting.
was. I'll try and explain it. I was following the game live, and I
Yeah.
couldn't. I couldn't really see exactly where where Black went wrong.
Yeah.
It seemed to be that just um,
Yeah.
slowly but surely White ended up getting a better position.
Yeah.
There was some. I would say um, one of the first signs I felt that Black was struggling was around move 54,
54. Right.
where White makes a nice little Tsuji there
Yeah.
to remove black's base.
Hmm.
Now the AI says that it's maybe white is at 60%,
Right.
which is basically even.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess that you can sort of just put that down to it's still early in the game. So
Mm.
while it puts white ahead, there's still plenty of space for black
Yeah.
to gain that back. But I did feel that this put black on the back foot.
Mm.
At the very least, if I was playing this game, I'd be feeling a little bit annoyed.
Yeah.
Um, that black group did get bothered a little bit. If you go down to if you go to move maybe 75,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can see here that white is able to cut off black on the right, and
Yeah.
black sort of has to grovel
Yeah.
his way out. And the group lives without much drama, but
Yeah.
it seems like white got a little bit of an advantage there and never relinquished.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess to me, this black group probably is never going to be really that in that much danger. Now, the only point in the game where I thought was quite interesting was when, oh, of course, in this game, black is Shibano Toramaru, white is Hsu Chiayuan, and
Oh yes,
and of
sorry.
course, Shibano ended up losing this game. That's not really a secret, but the thing that I thought was very interesting was kind of starting here when Shibano made its attachment, and then white cuts, and Shibano Atari, and then connected. I thought, okay, surely this is not a good idea because you're kind of creating two groups, and but I'm not strong enough to see the Tetsuji, but this must be a common Tetsuji for really strong players. But Hsu Chiayuan played this Tetsuji, and I just checked this with AI beforehand. This is also AI's recommended move. I guess at my level, I'll be thinking something along the lines of, can I do this? Can I do this? I'll kind of read out those two things first. Maybe a lot later I'll think about this kind of move, but this is actually a really nice Tetsuji. I imagine for strong players, this is a very common Tetsuji. And of course, after this Tetsuji, yeah, obviously, black cannot just ladder these stones anymore because of this one stone. It's really nice. And when I looked at AI, this move was obviously also possible. That would be my first choice. But I guess Shu didn't like the fact that Shibano could use a ko here to kind of get something out of it. So yeah, so this is probably the best move possible. And I think at this point AI says white is clearly ahead, but the point differential is only like 3 points. So I guess really don't listen to AI too much. Just enjoy the game as you go. But whatever it was, AI just didn't like Shibano's position after that, and yeah, it's not really a secret that after Shibano, this 4 stones got captured. I thought white is better, and Shibano never recovered from that. Yeah, it was a good win for Hsu Chiayuan. So that's the Judan. Looking forward to more games. I think when we look at the calendar, we'll see if there's another game this week on the Judan.
Yes, and that puts the Judan at 1 game apiece. So there's
One
going to
game
be,
apiece.
it's a best of 5.
Yep.
So there's going to be at least 2 more games.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. So that's the news coming out of Japan. Now, Gaza, let's look at what's happening in China. Now, there's a lot. It's no secret that if you look at some of the online rankings, Kerje is no longer Chinese number 1, even in the official rankings. And a lot of the unofficial online rankings like Go Ratings doesn't put Kerje Chinese number 1. And he's slipped down to maybe 4 or 5 on the world rankings. And maybe if you just look at his results in the last year, like you wouldn't even consider him a top 5 player in the world last year. So he hasn't been doing so well, but he's still going on all these different variety shows. This is another example. He goes on to on this magician show. This magician is Liu Qian. He's very famous in China. I think he's from Taiwan, so he's a very famous magician in China. He goes on this show. The magician was showing him a few tricks. And the title of this post says, Kerje's game goes abracadabra. Playing skills vanish after magic show with Liu Chen.
I can't believe you posted this title.
Why not?
That's so harsh. I mean, that's typical you, because you're the you're the first person to speak up whenever Kerje loses a game.
Right.
But even I, like you. I mean, to come up with this title.
Yeah. Well, you can't actually blame me because I think ChatGPT came up with the title. So
I don't believe that.
yeah. Well.
Knowing you, I find that difficult to believe that this is just a coincidence.
Okay. Whatever. So even with Kerje going on these variety shows, I guess the real test is how did he do in games? Is he getting good results? Now recently, I think we talked about this last episode where Kerje was was forced to play, or not forced, but he had to play in a international major prelim, and that's the first time he's had to do that since he's won the Longxing Cup as a 17-year-old, or I think. So he has to play in the Mlily Cup prelim, the 5th Mlily Cup prelim. So he's one of the players in the prelim. I'll try to see if I can find the chart that Kerje is in. Kerje is in group 16. So the chart's not there. He's in group 16. So he's had to beat a couple of players, and he actually made a final of the prelim. So he only has to win one more game to progress in the prelim of the Mlily Cup. And in the Mlily Cup, what's gonna happen is that I believe it's the first official round is a round of 64. So there's still a lot of players in there. So Kerje, to even make it into the top 32, he still had to win one more game after that. So this is Kerje over here playing. I believe this is Zhang Chang. I think Zhang Chang is also a Jalika. And I'll see if I can find the chart where he's. This would be the one. I believe he's in group 16. Yeah, so this is Kerje in the final. Now he's got a tricky assignment in the final prelim versus Xia Chenkun. I believe I've seen his name a few times, maybe even as part of the Jalik teams. So it's a little bit tricky, but I'm still expecting Kerje to go through. So how did Kerje make it to the final round? Is Kerje beat Zhang Chang, which is the person pictured above, and he had to beat Chu Jinbo, which is a player I've never heard of, but it's a 4-dan.
If you actually look up that player on Go ratings, they don't have a game in Go ratings since like 2018 or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I do remember a very strong Chinese player. It might have been Yang Kai-wan. He just posted.
2018 is their last game in Go ratings. That doesn't mean they haven't played since 2018, but they don't have a Kifu.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Chinese players do complain a lot, and the articles that talk about these prelims, they were saying, wow, this is bringing out a lot of players, and as you saw in the pictures, they are playing in person again after COVID. So this is quite big. Now, the other thing that's interesting about these prelims, I believe, is that these prelim games don't count towards your ratings. And I think in the Chinese system, if you don't play games for 1 year, you become inactive. So you get taken off the official ratings. You're no longer ranked in the official ratings. But the moment you play, you kind of just pick up where you left off. You keep all your points, and then you just your points your ELO just moves with the result of that one game. So you can even play one game per year and keep your active rating, and that's how a player like Wang Xi, who played in the Yi League for like 6-7 games, he was ranked like 21, even though he's clearly considered a retired player, but he just come out and play 7 games. He was ranked like 20 something in China. He just picked up his ratings where he left off. Left off. But these games, as I said, I do believe these prelims, they don't count towards ratings points. So even though a lot of players that don't normally play come out to play, they are still considered inactive in China. So, and as you can imagine, a lot of these games don't even get Kifu's recorded. So that's a bit about Kerje. Now, what the headline says is that a lot of players like Yu Zhiying, pictured here, and Zhou Ruiyang and Rui Naiwei, they all got eliminated. And some big names got eliminated as well, like Jiang Weijie, Li Qingcheng. So there's some pretty big upsets already. After 4 rounds of 3 rounds of competition in the Mlily Cup, I think the 4th round will be happening soon. So let's see if Kerje can make another round of another international major.
I have to ask, how's my favorite player doing?
Your favorite player is Wang Xinghao.
That's right.
Yes, I do believe he's made the final of one of these. I'm just trying to quickly look up his name. Actually, I might just go through all the finalists in the prelim tournament groups one by one, just so that we don't miss anyone. So in group 1, the finalists are Rong Yi and Zhao Chenyu. So both of these are Jarligas. So
yes, Rong Yi was the player who reversed the game against the Yama Yuta.
That's right. That's right. Very strong player for Shenzhen, I believe. And then in group 2, it's Gu Zihao and Liu Yuhang. So both I do believe both of them play in the Jar League. So of course Gu Zihao is a big name, but he still has to play in the prelim. So he's only one game away from making it. Actually, one of our active Discord members always talks about this person called Zhou Ziyi. I spotted his name. He entered this group 2 in round 2. Unfortunately, he didn't win. He lost to Liu Xiangyu, yes. So Zhou Ziyi still Shodan, as printed here, didn't make it past second round, and he entered it into second round.
Right.
And in group 3, we got Tong Mengchen versus Yang Kaiwen as the finalist. So both
big names there.
Yeah, no surprise there. Group 4 is Tao Xing'an versus Huang Mingyu. I do believe both are Jarligas. Tao Xing'an maybe it's a much bigger name. Now group 5, Chen Xian is of course a Jarliga. He's got a huge amount of wins this year in the Jar League. But his opponent is Wang Kainan, which I can't say I've heard about much before. So it's a Wang Kainan. The interesting thing is it says he's a 4 dan, so probably a very strong player. Moving down, Group 6, Hsu Chiayuan versus Yiling Tao. Again, no surprises there. Group 7, it's Chen Zijian and Liao Yuanhe, Jarligas again. Group 8, we got the big guns Len Xiao coming out versus Wei Yibo. And then Group 9 is Deng Yifei versus Wang Chuxuan. I do believe both are Jarligas, but Wang Chuxuan, if I'm not wrong, he's got a pretty poor record in the Jar League, maybe a very young player. And then we have Group 10 is Zhang Mingkang versus Yan Huan. Yan Huan is a former Jarliga, but he beat Jiang Weijie to make the final. So big upset there. Group 11, Zhao Zhongxuan and Gu Lingyi. I've only heard of Gu Lingyi, not the other player, so no idea what's happening there. Group 12 is Zhang Ziliang and To Jiaxi. To Jiaxi, of course, is a big name. Zhang Ziliang recently featured in the New Talents competition in China, so he's also an up-and-coming young player. Group 13, the big guns come out again. Li Weiqing versus Liu Xi, I believe. It's too blurry to see, but I've never heard of Liu Xi. It's only Li Weiqing. So, Group 14 is He Yuhan versus Huang Yunsong. Big names. And Group 15, that's where your favorite player comes in. Wang Xinghao versus Cheng Hao. So
Cheng Hao?
Yeah.
The Cheng Hao?
No, Cheng Hao.
Oh, Cheng Hao.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't heard about this Cheng Hao too many times. but Wang Xinghao is definitely a big name. I don't think Wang Xinghao got really tested that much. He beat a 5 Dan and beat a Shodan to make the final. I guess
Nice.
people are expecting him to make it. Group 16 we talked about, Ke Jie versus Xia Chengquan. Group 17 is Xie Hao versus Liao Xingwan. Xie Hao is a bigger name. Group 18 is probably it's got Fan Tingyu, which is a big name, and Zheng Qiren, again a fairly big name. And you may remember Zheng Qiren recently just beat Ke Jie. And then they repeated the picture again, but group 19 is Li Ming versus Tan Xiao. So Tan Xiao is a big name. So that's it. So we're still waiting for a lot of results to come out. Actually, there's also the women's group. The women's group, I believe, is up to down to the semi-final, and I think there's 2 spots what it looks like. So it's Pan Yang versus I honestly can't see the name. I think it's Zhu Fei Hong. Zhu Fei Hong is the lady who beat Rui Nai Wei, and Zhu is only a 1 Dan, so very young, probably a very young player. So maybe it might be a name to watch. The other bracket is Zhou Hongyu and Huang Yi. I don't know. I can't see the name, too blurry. But Zhou Hongyu, of course, is a big name. Oh yes, sorry, I missed this. But actually, the women's group is still got more names. Yu Jing is still in it. Wang Yubo is still in it. Fang Roxi is still in it, and Li Xiaoxi is still in it. I don't know how many spots there are for the ladies, but it looks like there's still a lot of spots up for grabs. Maybe 2 spots from these 8 players that I mentioned. And interestingly, they also have a couple of amateur groups. So yeah, I don't know the players in that one. So yeah. So that's it. That's the Mlily Cup prelim. So nothing too exciting. Just normal so far. Yeah. So Gaza, is there anything you wanted to mention? Any questions you have about the Chinese scene?
Are there any updates on the Longxing and the Changqi Cup?
Okay, in the Changqi Cup, I think the Changqi Cup is also in prelim stage. Now, as far as I can tell, nothing too much has happened. Maybe I'll wait until the final to show you the results. But I do believe that if I'm not wrong, almost all of the women players have been eliminated, if not all of them. And this is of course Wang Xinghao again. So I have more updates, when the prelims are done. And in the Longxing Cup, actually what it looks like, the Changqi Cup, they have actually finished the prelims. Actually, that's what it looks like. And your favorite player, Gaza, guess what? He actually made it. Wang Xinghao, he beat Yang Kaiwan, another big name, to make it into the Changqi Cup. The other player to have made it is Zhang Qiren, who beat Tang Weixin. So Zhang Qiren recently has been having some really good forms. And then we got Han Yizhou, Liu Yuhang, who beat Chen Xian actually. And Hu Yuhan beat Liao Yuanhe. So Hu Yuhan might be a very young player. That's why I haven't heard too much about him. And then Yiling Tao, who famously lost to Ilya Shikshin in, I believe, either Baduk Cup or Mlily Cup, also made it. He beat Tong Mongcheng in the prelim final. Tan Xiao beat Tao Xingran, and Tu Xiaoyu beat Xia Chengquan. So these are the 8 players to make it. And the full list of the Changqi Cup goes like this. You got Ding Hao, Huang Yunsong, Gu Zihao, Ke Jie, Mi Yuting, Fan Tingyu, Liao Lianxiao, Li Weiqing, Xie Ke, Xie Hao, Zhao Chenyu, Tuo Jiaxi, Jiang Weijie, Deng Yifei, Peng Liyao, Li Shenhao, Xu Yue, Xu Jiayuan, Li Qingchen, Chen Yaoye, and Xu Yaohong. I guess Xu Yaohong is probably the odd one out because he's from Taiwan, but I do believe they reserve at least one place for Taiwanese players.
Wait, where's Wang Xinghao?
Wang Xinghao is in the prelim, but what the list I read out was the
seeds.
The seeds, basically, yeah. So Wang Xinghao also made it. So I think Wang Xinghao is ranked as high as 11 on some rankings now, world rankings. So huge star on the rise. So
in the Longxing,
yeah,
we haven't we know who the
Yeah. So for Longxing, yeah. So basically, what's happened with Longxing is that they have played up till the is it the challenger final?
yes, I believe that they finished the challenger final.
Yeah. I honestly can't remember what's happened. Um,
So the current Longxing,
yeah.
the Longxing is a challenger title holder format,
Yeah.
and the current title holder is, I believe, Miyu Ting.
Yeah.
So he doesn't compete in the prelims,
Yeah. Oh.
and
Yeah.
they
Is it Miyu Ting?
oh no, actually no. I'm thinking of the wrong tournament.
Yeah.
So sorry, the Longxing Cup is no, it's a different format actually.
Yeah.
Um, so the Miyu Ting one, I was thinking of the Tianyuan,
Oh,
but the
Tianyuan. Yeah.
yeah, but the Longxing Cup. So the way it works is that do you have the link there
Tianyuan.
of the Longxing Cup?
This is the Longxing Cup.
Yes, but so it's a stepladder sort of format.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
what happens is there's two blocks. Yeah, that's the one. So
Yeah.
there's two blocks, and basically, it's sort of a stepladder, and there's a player on each rung, um, like a boss in Mortal Kombat. If you've ever played the old Mortal Kombat games, when you beat a boss, you sort of move up the tower and fight the next boss.
Right.
So that's how this works. So there's two people at the bottom of the ladder, and they play each other, and the winner moves up one step to face the next opponent. And they just keep on playing like that, and whoever wins is the one who progresses. And in the end, the winner of each block
Yeah.
progresses to the semifinals.
Right.
Now, obviously, whoever the further up you start
Yeah.
on the ladder, the more of an advantage you have of winning because
Hmm.
you have to play less games to
Yeah.
win. In fact, there's also like a top player at each ladder, so they only need to win one game to make the semifinals.
Mm.
So in this case, in Block A, it's Kerje, and in
Yep.
Block B, it's Li Junhao. So
Yep.
both of those players just need to win one game,
Yeah.
and they'll make the semifinals.
Right. Very nice.
And I think your position on the ladder
Mm.
is sort of based on previous either like rating or previous performances in this tournament.
Right.
So you know the stronger, the better you've performed in the past, the further up you'll start the ladder.
Yeah.
Now that's only two spots in the semifinals, though. There are two more spots to the player that wins the most games in each block.
Right.
So even if you start at the very, obviously, if you start at the very bottom, you have to win a lot of games to win the block. But if
Mm.
you win enough games,
Yeah.
you may get the most wins, and
Yeah.
you'll progress to the semifinal anyway.
Yeah. And do you know what happens if the two players are on the same number of wins in the same block?
No, but I believe that it's the person that started up higher. The
Right.
tiebreak goes to whoever started higher up in the block.
Yeah.
I think that's the case.
Yeah.
I
Well.
believe. Yeah, so I believe yeah, so last year, for instance, Liao Wanhe and Wang Shuo
Yeah.
both got 3 wins in their block, and
Yeah.
Liao Wanhe was the one who progressed
Very nice.
to the semi-final.
I guess it kind of makes sense because the higher up you start, the harder it is supposedly because you have to face stronger opponents if you want to get consecutive wins.
Yes.
Okay, so what looks like to me is that in Block A, unfortunately, Gaza, your favorite player Wang Xinghao, got eliminated after just one win. He beat Hang Yizhou in the first round, but lost to Chen Xian in the second.
Yes.
So he's only got one win. And the player with the most wins in Block A is Deng Yifei. He's beaten Liao Yuanhe.
Actually, it's not. It's Li Wei Qing.
Right.
Li Wei Qing. Well, Deng Yifei and Li. Sorry, I'm not sure if you were going to keep talking, but
Yeah.
Deng Yifei and Li Weiqing both have 2 wins, but Li Weiqing is higher up in the ladder.
Yeah, so they have the same number of wins. So
Yeah.
Deng Yifei has the most wins, but just that Li Weijing is higher.
Yes, they both have
Okay.
2 wins.
Yeah.
But there's still a few games left to play.
Yeah.
So Li Weiqing isn't guaranteed a
Right.
spot.
So what would happen if, say, because they're currently in Block A, Gu Zihao is the current winner. He's beat Li Weiqing to stop the Li Weiqing's consecutive wins at 2. So Gu Zihao is gonna face Ding Hao and Ke next. So imagine if Gu Zihao wins both of these games, he would be on 3 wins and the winner of the block. So what happens then?
So I believe then it's if the winner also has the most wins, then it's whoever has the second most wins.
Ah, okay. So it's not Ke. So the Ke
No, it
doesn't
wouldn't be
get a free
Ke.
pass.
No. If you lose, if you lose,
Yeah.
like if you only play one game and you lose, you're not making the semi-final. No.
Right. Okay. Okay. So
And then in the other block,
yeah.
only one player has 2 wins so far.
Mm,
That's Hsu Chiayuan.
yeah.
So he might have a small chance of making the semifinals. But
Yeah.
yeah, in each block, there's still 2 games left to play. So
Yeah. Basically, for him to make the semi, you need to have Mi Yuting losing to Fan Tingyu next.
yes,
That's-
and then you'd also yes.
Yes. And then you also need Fan Tingyu
No,
to
no,
lose.
that would be enough because if Fenting Yu wins,
Yeah.
then Zhu Jiayang would have Fenting Yu and Zhu Jiayang would have the most wins, but Fenting Yu would already qualify
Yeah.
as the winner. So
Yeah. Sure. Now Gaza, just to prove certain things, you know, I'm going to take a screenshot of somewhere off screen, okay, and I'm going to show this screenshot to people, and I'm going to show you that I'm actually a very very nice person, okay, Gaza, just so that you're aware, okay, and do you know what I'm going to show you? That's right, ChatGPT. ChatGPT says Ke game goes abracadabra, playing skill vanish after magic show with Liu Chen. So there you go.
I noticed that the prompt is his playing ability has declined.
Yeah.
Write a witty headline about that. So you're not off the hook here, Xiaodai.
Okay.
You're not going to fool me.
All right. Whatever, man.
But
So-
nice try.
Nice try. Okay. So that's the Longxing. And shall we quickly have a look at the Tianyuan? Hopefully this website keeps it up to date. Tianyuan. Okay, so Tianyuan. Now Tianyuan, something surprising have happened, Gaza. And that surprise is that Deng Yifei have actually claimed the challenger spot.
Did we talk about this last week or not?
I can't remember. I thought we didn't, but anyway.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we didn't.
Yeah. So Deng Yifei claimed. I think last time we discussed this might be 2 weeks ago, and we were up to talking about Deng Yifei and Len Xiao making the final of the challenger, but Deng Yifei have actually won this, and Deng Yifei is going to challenge Mi Yuting in a best of 3. So I also believe this is Deng Yifei's first ever challenger win in a Chinese domestic. Of course, Deng Yifei I believe he's won the LG Cup. But yeah, so that's the other news coming out of China there.
Wow, is this actually his first time challenging for a domestic?
I believe so. It's a very tough scene. I mean, Deng Yifei is sometimes ranked in the top 20, and now more recently maybe near the top 10 or top 10. But I mean, it's even if you're ranked that highly, it's hard to challenge for a title in China just because it's so competitive, I guess. Yeah.
Right.
I think so, but hey, that's it. So that's all the Chinese news that I wanted to cover, Gaza. Shall we move on to another part of Asia? Some would call it, the official name of this place is, I believe, Republic of China. Still, and Gaza, there's something that's happened there.
Yes, that's right. There's been a major, a domestic major
Yeah,
in Taiwan,
Taiwan.
and um, it's the Haifong Cup. Now, I'm not sure what this is about.
Yeah,
Excuse me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the sort of the circumstances of this tournament, or how, or where it ranks among the majors in Taiwan.
yeah,
I would say it's one of the lesser ones.
right.
Can you use your background?
But other than that, I don't even
Today I'm
know.
going to show you. My daughter works in a
I
clothing.
don't even know what the time controls are.
Right.
I do know it's a 64 player knockout.
Hmm.
So
Yep. I think we can see it from here. That's the knockout charts.
yes, it's a 64 player knockout up to the final, which is a best of 3.
Right.
Now, if you recall, you mentioned a while ago that Zhu Haohong had 8 of the 9
Yep.
Taiwanese majors.
Yep.
Now, this was one of those 8.
Right.
And he actually lost in the quarterfinals
Yep.
to a very young bloke named Zhu Jingen.
Which
Zhu
is
Qing,
Yep.
Zhu Qingen.
Yep. Which is the young lad that you see on the left over here, if you can see it. But that's
Yes,
this person over here.
he's younger than he looks
Yes.
when he's wearing a mask.
Right.
He's definitely younger than Zhu Haohong himself, so definitely he's he's under 18, so he's the most promising young player currently in Taiwan.
Yep. Was he also the player that have been Choi Jong recently in the Korean League?
That's right. He actually beat Choi Jong in
Wow,
the
Choi
Korean
Jong is ranked like 13 in Korea, so
14.
14th. Yeah.
Maybe she was ranked 13 at the time, but that's not the only game he's won in the Korean League. I believe he beat Kim Ji Sok actually.
Oh wow. Yep.
Yes.
So very strong
That's-
player.
Very. He's definitely a very promising young lad.
Yep.
And as you can see, not only did he beat Zhu Haohong in the quarterfinal, but he actually made the final
Yes.
of this Haifong Cup.
Yeah. Well, I guess by definition, if you win in the semi.
Yes, but all I mentioned is that he won in the quarterfinal.
All right. Okay. Yep.
But he beat Lai Junfu, another very strong player,
Yep.
also a very young player.
Mm.
He beat Lai Junfu in the semifinal,
Yep.
and so he made the final. And the final was against Wang Guanjun.
Yes.
Now, like I said, it was a best of 3, but Wang Guanjun ended up winning the first 2 games.
Mm.
He won the first one as white, and then he won the second game as black by half a point.
Yep.
So Wang Guanjun is the Haifong Cup champion. Now, I'm not sure if he's won it in the past. I'd assume that he possibly has.
Right.
I'm just checking, and it looks like maybe he hasn't. This could be his first Haifong Cup.
Yeah. So let's look at all the previous champions. So he's the most recent champion, 2023. The Haifong Cup was won by Xu Haohong for 2 years straight. In the last 2, prior to this one, and then Lai Junfu won one of them.
Oh, he
and
actually has won it in the past.
And then if we look further back, Wang Yanjun has actually won it in 2013.
He won it 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean
10.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
That's quite. That is quite a fair amount of time between drinks.
Yes. So he's won it 10 years ago. So I don't know what format it was before, or whether it's as important as a.
The format has never
Right.
changed,
Right.
except it's always been as far as I can see, it's always been 6 rounds, but it hasn't always been 64 players. Sometimes
Right.
it's been, I think, 48,
Yeah.
and there's been some buys.
Yeah.
But this one was, 64 players,
Mm.
and yeah, so you need to win. You need to win 5 games to make the final, and then
Yeah.
the final is a best of 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty impressive if you can win it multiple times because
Sure.
there doesn't seem to be any, since it's 64 players, there's no buys.
Mm.
So the stronger players don't get seeded into like the final 16 or anything like that. You have to start where everyone else is.
Yeah.
So big congrats to Wang Wanjun. That's actually currently that's the only title he holds, I believe.
Yep. So let's
Because-
quickly do a review of what the titles are there are. So as you mentioned, Haifong Cup is his only title at the moment. But if you,
Yeah.
and this page supposedly contains the winner of all the titles, and one picture really stands out, doesn't it, Gaza?
Yes.
So that's the picture of Xu Hong. So he's got I believe he got 8 out of 9, but now he's got 7 out of 9.
That's right. Yes.
And Gaza, you know what? He's about to get to 7. Only 6 out of 9.
Yes, that's right.
And
It's-
and that's
glad
because
you
of this
pointed that
video.
out.
Maybe we'll spend some time looking at this video.
Yes. This is a very interesting, very big title. It's the Mingren, the Taiwanese Mingren.
So yeah, so now this I just showed the promo. I think the sound would be playing in the actual recording release on YouTube. What's happened was that, guys, I want to point out 2 things. One is that this feels a little bit more productionized. So they are trying to maybe copy what happens in the Korean league. Of course, in Taiwan I don't think they have a proper professional Go channel. But this is a promo video for the Mingren, which you have just mentioned in Taiwan. I believe it's the biggest prize money in Taiwan in terms of pro competitions. The winner's purse is 1.8 million new Taiwanese dollar. So and that would equate to about 59,000 USD.
That's not bad.
On today's exchange rate. So that's actually
And-
not too bad.
The Mingren itself, the name has a lot of history, but this particular tournament does not. And what I mean by that is there used to be an older version of the Mingren
Yep.
in Taiwan, and I think that was one of the biggest titles at the time.
Yep.
And I remember looking up on Wikipedia or some other website, and it seemed the format of the competition seemed to undergo a lot of changes over the years. It was like sometimes it would be a title holder challenger, sometimes it would be like a round robin tournament, and other times it would be a win and continue tournament where you just keep playing, and they'd have like 50 rounds or something like that. Whoever had the most wins won.
Yeah.
But in the end, it must have gotten discontinued, and then a new Mingren appeared, and it doesn't seem to have inherited the history of the old Mingren.
Yeah.
Because this is only the 4th edition of this version of the Mingren.
That's right.
And the interesting thing is, despite it being apparently having the biggest prize money, it's not a title holder challenger tournament. It's a knockout.
Right. Yeah.
Or at the very least, it's a knockout up to the semi-finals, which is a best of 3, and then the final is a best of 7.
Right. That's right. Yes.
Yes. And once again, it's a 32 player competition, and apart from having to qualify for it, everyone starts in the round of 32. So, for instance, obviously Zhu Hong won it before.
Mm.
But he has to start at the round of 32. He doesn't get any buys
No.
or anything like that. And in the end, he had to, in the quarterfinals, he had to face Wang Wanjun.
Yeah, in a do or die, one game. Yep.
Yeah, and since it was the quarterfinals, it was only one game, and he lost.
Yep.
So, he is not going to be defending his Mingren title. And in the end, it's actually two perhaps surprising finalists in this year's Mingren. Who are they?
And we have the Chen Qirui and Lai Junfu. I think both names should be familiar to regular followers of the podcast or the Pro Weiqi Reddit. So this is Chen Qirui, a strong player, a young player from Taiwan. This is Lai Junfu. He's played in the Globus Cup. So these are the two players that made the final. So they will be playing our best of 7.
Yeah, best of 7.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's going to be a fairly long match. I don't know when the games start.
Yeah. So
yeah,
let's see if I can find out in here. But but this is going to be a big one for Taiwan. I guess one thing that was interesting. This is the semi-finalist. One thing that's interesting is that on the left here, Xiao Zhenghao. He's of course one of the strongest players from Taiwan, but he's a bit of the older generation. He might just be, sandwiched between the generation of Guli and Kerje, somewhere in between, somewhere there. But he's basically considered a bit past his prime. But he still made a semi-final of this big tournament. And one interesting thing about Xiao Zhenghao, which I might have mentioned in a previous podcast episode, was that when the World Majors had these open qualifiers, he was one of the few players from Taiwan who actually made it through the qualifiers to make an international major. He might even have beaten Guli in one of the finals. So he's a very, very, very strong player.
interesting.
Very interesting, yeah. But this is a Taiwanese contingent. I can't remember how many of them are in the Korean League. Maybe only one, Lai Junfu.
What do you mean? Wang Wanjun is definitely in the Korean League,
correct.
as is Chen Qirui. I'm sure Chen
Chen
Qirui
Qirui.
is
Right.
also.
So all 3 of them are, except the one. So there's only one that's left out. So looking forward to it. Definitely will report on the winner of this major competition.
Yeah, I can confirm that Chen Qirui is in the Korean League.
Yes, and actually, if you look at this might have been the round of 8 picture. Notice that there's a lady there. So that's Yang Zixuan. She beat actually 2 fairly strong, men players to make it to the last 8, which is quite good. Yeah, she actually beat Chen Weiting, which is someone who I often see on the Taiwanese streams. So good results for.
That's
the
pretty
women's game.
impressive. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So that's it about the Haifong Cup, I guess, Gaza.
Yes, as we welcome Elon in the
Elon
chat and
in the chat.
Yusuf.
Yusuf. Oh, hi.
We've just finished the update on the Japanese, Chinese, and Taiwanese scenes.
Yes. So we're gonna, Gaza, you're gonna walk us through some results in the Korean system. Do you want to let me know?
Well,
you wanna
the
go?
Korean system, I'm mainly going to be concentrating on the Korean League
Yes.
and just
Let
another.
me guess, Gaza. Team Japan lost again.
Mate, you're such a troll. But you're such a troll. Okay, there is a game happening. At the match happening at the moment. It's in the chat. Posted the link. It's between POSCO Chemical and Baduk Mecca.
Yeah.
But onto the update now. We had a little sneak peek, a little preview, a little teaser last week about one of Japan's upcoming matches, and it was against Team Kicks.
Mate, Gaza, you are famous for your. Oh, well, I wouldn't say famous, but you are a bit famous for your, predictions.
well, let's not get into that.
Yeah.
But I did mention that Team Kicks, they were they were going through a bit of a rough patch. They'd gone 3 straight matches where only one of their players ended up winning any games.
Yeah.
That was Shin So, but none of their other players had won a game in those 3 matches. So they lost all 3 matches with no points.
No points. Yeah.
And they were coming up against Team Japan, who, as people may know,
Yeah.
have lost all of their matches. And
Yeah.
I did mention that this could be Team Japan's best chance of winning.
Yes, you did. You did say that, Gaza.
Now, in the end,
Yeah.
I was very excited for this match, and it included a matchup between Korea's number 1 player, or Kicks' number 1 player at least, Shin So,
So.
and Team Japan's number 1 player, Seki Kataru.
Right. He's number 1 because he's got a title.
Yes.
Yeah. All
He's
right.
the number 1 seed in that Korean team. Now, Kicks, let's not beat around the bush here. Kicks turned up to this match
Yes.
for sure,
Yes.
and Team Japan did not.
no. Unfortunately.
So but I'll just quickly go through it. The first 2 games
Yep.
the first game was Koike Yoshihiro
Yep.
against Kim Chang-hoon. Now, Kim Chang-hoon had yet to win a game
Yep.
in the Korean League, but
Yeah.
neither had Koike Yoshihiro hadn't won a game either.
No.
And in the end, Kim Chang-hoon won fairly comfortably.
Right.
Now, board 2 was Hirose Yuichi
Yep.
against Park Jin-sol.
Yep.
Now, Park Jin-sol had only won 3 out of 10 games up until this point, but he was in good form at the beginning of the year, and he seems to have found that form again because he comfortably disposed of Hirose Yuichi.
Yeah.
So that made it 2-0 to Team Kicks.
And is Park Jin-so still in the top 10 in Korea?
No, he's not. He's not in the top 10.
Right. I thought he was somewhere like 20 or something.
He's top 20. He's
Right.
top 20.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't been top 10 for a while.
Okay. Yeah.
But actually, he's 21. He's ranked 21. He lost a lot of spots last month because of his JAR League.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then so that meant it was 2-0 to Team Kicks. So for Team Japan to have a chance of winning, they had to win the other 2 games,
Yeah.
including Seki Kataru beating Shin So.
Yeah.
So onto that. So that was the next one to finish. Now, Seki Kataru played Shin So. Now they hadn't played each other before.
Yeah.
And watching the game and just watching their body language, it was like, someone playing with their food. You know what I mean?
Not really, but what?
Like a playing with your food before you eat it. It's like Shin So was just sort of
yeah.
he was just
toying with him.
Yeah, toying with him. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was extremely comfortable. There were definitely like he wasn't always playing perfect moves, but I don't think he ever really felt like he was in any sort of danger.
Yeah.
Or that he'd been given a difficult position or anything like that. Whereas Seki Kataru, based on his body language, he wasn't very comfortable.
Yeah.
And in the end, he tried to invade. Shin So got a fairly nice moyo on the bottom. Seki Kataru had to try and invade, and it just failed.
Right.
It just didn't work, and then Seki Kataru resigned.
Yeah, I just remember going through the Kifu a little bit, and obviously I didn't try to read any of the moves in depth, but I just get the feeling that at the end, Seki Kataru was just completely outread, like by Shin So. It was just local fighting,
Yeah, he did get outread locally, but I'm not sure if he intentionally overplayed. Like maybe not intentionally, but
Yeah.
the other thing is that Seki Kataro was low on time.
Yeah. Yeah, I do believe that's the case, yes.
Yes, whereas Shinjin possibly had more time. That it's 20-second increment,
Yeah.
and I think Shinjin may have had more time than what he started with.
Right, yeah.
So he was always very comfortable, whereas Seki Kataro
mm,
just didn't have enough time to read out the situation. So
yeah. So
yeah, it was a clear win for Shinjin, which meant it was a clear win for Team Kicks. And then the last game to finish was possibly the closest game.
yeah.
Murata Tomoya against Baekhyun Woo. Baekhyun Woo is a pretty young player.
Yeah.
And he ended up prevailing in the end. So Team Kicks actually won 4-0.
Yeah. So and Gaza, like you can't accuse the Japanese team of putting out, the like a not so good team, because technically in that team that they put out on that night against Team Kicks, there's actually 2 title holders. Hirata Tomoya won the Kiriyama
Cup, yeah.
And Seki Kataro is the current Tengen. So yeah, it does make me feel a little bit sad about the state of Japanese Go at the moment. But hey,
I think that it is a bit of a
yeah,
it's starting to become a little bit of I wouldn't say embarrassment, but concern.
yeah,
It really Japan really should. This is their 10th match, by the way.
yeah,
And they haven't won a single one, and in only 2 cases have they even forced a 5th game.
yeah,
And I think regardless of what your prediction or your preview or what you think of Japanese Go,
yeah.
this is not good. It's just not a good look.
No.
Um,
And like Gaza, I have to say, before this season, when they had announced that they will invite the international teams to join the Korean League, I was very excited. But then when I as the season progressed and I saw the performance of the Taiwanese team and the Japanese team, I kind of just felt like, oh, this is not great. I mean, if you invite a team from somewhere else, they should be at least competitive. I don't know how the players in the Korean League feels now, because these guys aren't even as good as us, but they get a chance to play, week in week out on TV. But potentially some Korean players are missing out because these teams are playing. So I don't know.
I wouldn't go that far. I don't think it's that big a deal because there's actually more Korean teams this year than last year.
Right.
I believe last year there were 9 teams.
Yeah.
9 Korean teams, I think.
Mm.
And this year there's 12 teams, but 10
Right.
of them are Korean.
Right.
I do believe there are more Korean teams this year, so I don't think that's the issue.
Right.
I don't think they've sacrificed the number of Korean teams. I don't think they would have made 12 Korean teams, for instance, if they didn't include Taiwan and Japan. So I don't think that's the problem. You can certainly argue that it's a bit disappointing to see Taiwan and especially Japan perform so badly.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, I still think it was a good idea to bring them in.
Yeah. I just look forward to next season if they can bring in a Chinese team where give some of the younger Chinese players a chance to play and see how.
Yeah, that would be good. Yes,
that would be good.
Another one last tidbit from this match is that Shinjin he moved up to a league record 11 wins after this match.
Right, and this season you mean?
This season,
yes. Okay.
Yeah, a league high. Sorry, not a league record, a league high.
Yeah.
11 wins. And his teammates combined, despite his teammates combined having 3 wins in this match, they've only got 10 wins for the season. So Shinjin still has more wins than all of his teammates combined.
Yeah.
Which may give you a bit of an understanding as to why Team Kicks are 5th out of 6th in their group.
Yeah. I had
And it's
only
still-
Team Japan.
ahead of Team Taiwan only.
Okay, so then today it's like a cross group competition. This one.
Yeah, there are cross group. This was a cross group
Yeah.
competition, yes, but
Yes.
it looks like Shi Jin-so may end up being the best player in the league, but not even make the playoffs.
Yeah, that would
Wouldn't
be
that be something?
Yes, yes.
Now,
I can't even vote for him in the what they call MVP of the year. Then
MVP,
Oh, wow.
that's right.
Yep.
Now we're going to skip one of the matches
right.
and move on to another interesting match.
Yep.
Now this one didn't involve Taiwan or Japan.
Right.
It was Baduk Mecca
Baduk
versus beautiful Hapcheon. Now this game happened on Thursday,
Yep.
the 23rd of March.
That's right. Yep.
And this was an interesting one. Now, beautiful Hapcheon are the defending champions.
Yes.
So they have a strong team.
Mm-hmm.
And Team Baduk Mecca, on paper, were considered to be one of the strongest teams, perhaps even the strongest on paper.
Yeah, okay.
But they had a very slow start, and they're only just now sort of coming in, like getting good form and getting some match wins.
Yeah.
And so it was still a big match because both of these teams, I think, are sort of on the cusp of third and fourth in their group, which is like making the playoffs.
Yep.
Now, the first two boards went to beautiful Hapcheon.
Yep.
Park Chun-hwan and Kim Jin-hui both
Yep.
won their games.
Okay.
Now, the second two boards went to Team Baduk Mecca, Kim Ji-sok and Moon Min-jung.
Yep.
They both won. So that means that it was an ace match. Now, we haven't had an ace match. There haven't been too many ace matches as of recently, but
Right.
we got one this time around.
Yep.
And this one was Kim Ji-sok versus Park Chun-hwan. And for a while, this is a interesting one because Kim Ji-sok and Park Chun-hwan and Kim Ji-sok for a long time were Korea's number 1 and 2 player.
Right.
In that order. Kim Ji-sok never actually got to number 1. And not only that, I believe they've actually played an ace match already.
Right.
In this league. Yes. Way back on the 18th of January,
Right.
they played an ace match. So this is the second time Beautiful Hapcheon has played Baduk Mecca. And in the first one, they had an ace match, and it was Park Chun-hwan versus Kim Ji-sok. And Park Chun-hwan ended up prevailing in that one.
Yep.
So this is like a rematch 2 months later. But it gets more interesting than that because I was watching this and I noticed at one point Kim Ji-sok was getting very low on time.
Yep.
And, at one point he tried to make a move and press the clock and the timer ran out.
Yep.
It went to 10. So I'm like, oh, damn, he lost on time. That sucks. And then because it was really late for me, I went to sleep, right?
Yep.
And then I woke up and I checked the results and I see the results and it says Kim Ji-sok won.
Oh, wow. It's crazy.
And I'm like, wait, what happened? And I went back to the video and what happened is that after the timer ran out, both players just stared at the board for a couple of minutes and then they just started playing again.
Right.
And I'm like, what's going on? What? I don't understand it. So an article was posted on the Baduk League website. Now I tried to get my friend to translate it, but he was busy, so he didn't end up translating it.
Yeah.
Right, so
was your friend Google Translate?
Yeah, I spoke to my other friend Google.
Oh yeah.
And they did the best they could.
Yeah.
And apparently it was a timer malfunction.
Oh.
So apparently Kim Ji-sok he pressed the button with like a second left, but the timer still counted down. But because he clearly pressed the button,
right,
it was considered a timer malfunction instead of a timeout.
Right.
But the issue obviously was that they couldn't just keep playing. Like the players just couldn't say couldn't agree amongst themselves. Like they had to get an arbiter or something like that to sort it out and let them keep playing and reset the clocks and stuff like that. But it did look like in the video that Park Jun-hwan was kind of aware that the game wasn't going to be declared a forfeit, and they were just going to continue playing.
Yep.
But it was very interesting, and I think the article seemed to mention that it already happened to Kim Ji-sok in the earlier game that he played in that match.
Yeah.
But I haven't had the time to look through the match and see if it did happen.
Right.
But yes, it seemed like it may have been an issue on a couple of occasions in that match. But in the end, Kim Ji-sok ended up actually prevailing. So yeah, quite interesting.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the only interesting thing. Kim Ji-sok, if you recall, there was one time when Shinjin So had to play 3 games in one day.
Yeah.
He had to play in the KBS Cup, and then he had to play in a Korean League match, and then the Ace match. And he ended up losing the Ace match, but he won the other 2. But he wasn't able to achieve 3 wins in one day.
No.
Now, it turns out that Kim Ji-sok actually did achieve the fabled 3 wins in one day.
Oh, wow.
And that was because earlier in the day, he played a Yongseong qualifier.
Right.
Against... Now, I just want to go over his opponents.
Yeah.
On Thursday. In the Yongseong qualifier, he beat Lee Chang-ho.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice.
Then in the Korean League match, he beat Park Young-hoon.
Yep.
And then in the Ace match, he beat Park Jun-hwan.
Okay.
Now, that's a combined 24 world titles.
Yes.
Of his opponents.
Yes.
And not only did he have to play a combined 24 world titles, he beat all of them.
Very nice.
Now, I would dare say that's one of the most impressive single-day efforts in professional Go.
Yes.
And that's why Kim Ji-sok is probably my favorite player.
Yeah.
In Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's only pretty until recently that it's possible to play multiple games in one day, because it really is a more recent invention, I would say.
Well, I think there probably have been players that have won 3 times in a day. For instance, the Globus Cup.
Right.
I think you have to, whoever wins, has to win 3 games in one day on the second day.
Right.
Like things like the Kuksu Mountains International Tournament.
Yeah.
I think you have to play twice a day for 2 days.
Yeah.
So there have definitely been occasions where you can play multiple games in a day, and there have been cases in the past where players have played a game and then had to play in the Korean League or the Women's League or something.
Yeah.
But 3 games in one day is exceedingly rare.
Yes.
And 3 wins in one day, and across different sort of leagues or different sort of competitions.
Yeah.
Very, very rare. And not only that, but against this standard of competition, very impressive.
Yes. I guess the only thing that surprised me was that this is the year 2023, and they still can't get a simple equipment right. It still has to malfunction. That's a bit surprising to me. I would have thought these clocks are so reliable that these kind of things just won't happen. But hey, it's still malfunctions. So hey, what can you say?
Yes. Now there's one more match.
Yes.
That I wanted to talk about. Now I was going to talk about this because Team Japan are returning. They're coming for their 11th...
Are you focusing on Team Japan just to rub it in?
No.
No.
Because everyone wants to follow Team Japan.
And
this is their 11th outing.
Yep.
They're looking for win number 1. And this is against Korea Zinc.
Yep.
Now, Korea Zinc have been one of the better performers
Yeah.
in their group.
Mm.
I'm not sure if this is the first time that they've had to play Team Japan.
Mm.
I'm just quickly going to check, but
yeah.
No,
I think
they
Choi
are in the
Jong.
same group.
Remember Choi Jong beat Hirata by half a point.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that game.
Yeah, so this is the second time.
Yes.
It's their second matchup.
Yeah.
And I did actually think this one was. Now, in the first one, they did lose 3-1.
Mm.
But I felt that the matchups in this one may have given Team Japan a chance.
Right.
Not necessarily the favorites, but a chance.
Right.
Now, the first game was Sakai Yuki versus Hongmu Jin.
Yes.
Hongmu Jin is a good player. Sure,
Yes.
he's like in the top 30.
Yeah.
But Sakai Yuki is the rookie king.
Yeah.
The rookie of the year in Japan. He's had a decent Korean League. He's won a couple of games. I think he even beat Hong Song-ji.
Yep.
Very strong player. In his first game. Yeah, Hongmu Jin is number 31 in Korea, by the way.
Right.
So yeah, he's probably one of the not one of the stronger players in the Korean League, or certainly not one of the highest ranked players in the Korean League. So I thought that Sakai Yuki had a chance in this game, and he did have a chance.
Yeah.
He had several chances. He was ahead at several points in the game, but in the end he did lose.
Yep.
So that obviously didn't work out. But it was a fairly close game, I would say. Now,
right.
The next round was Choi Jong versus Hirose Yuichi.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought that now Hirose Yuichi is also a decent player. He's had a decent Korean League, and he also had a very good Yi League in China.
Yes.
And Choi Jong, interestingly enough, has actually had a bit of a bad patch of form at the moment.
Yep. Yeah. I think we mentioned that.
Yeah, we did mention that. And in the end, it turned out that Choi Jong is in bad form, and she ended up losing. She lost fairly quick, like clinically, to Hirose Yuichi. She never seemed to be doing well in this game, and she lost.
Yeah.
And I just want to mention, I think now that Choi Jong has actually, since she won the Senko Cup, she has played, I think, 6 games, and she's lost 5 of them.
Right.
So she's in a bit of a rut at the moment, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually true. Since the Senko Cup, I mentioned last week that she'd won 2 of her previous 10 games. That was not including the Senko Cup.
Yeah.
I was. So I just want to clarify that. But since the Senko Cup, she's only won 1 of her next 6.
Yeah. Painful.
So, including losing her last 4 games.
Yeah.
Actually, no, sorry. She's actually one of her last 7. Sorry, she's played 7 games since the Senko Cup, and she's lost 6 now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's.
Well, because it didn't really stop her from going on an interview and saying that her aim is to achieve top 10 in the Korean ranking.
Yeah, I do remember we mentioned that interview last week.
Yeah.
That was posted in the Baduk subreddit saying her goal was to make top 10 Korean rankings. Now, I am curious as to when that interview came out.
Right.
I would imagine it came out around the time she won the Senko Cup.
Right. Yeah.
But it is a little bit of unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
That they decided to release this interview when she's in you know, the worst form of she's had so far this year.
Yeah.
But you know, she's a good player. She will eventually bounce back. But the top 10 aspirations will have to take a little bit of a back seat at the moment because she's not going to make the top 10 anytime soon.
Yeah.
In fact, I would not be surprised if she fell out of the top 20 come the next rankings.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll just post that the link with that interview into the chat. So if people are interested, you can check it out. Yeah.
Yes. But continuing on with the match now, since Hirose Yuichi won that game, that meant it was one game apiece between Japan and Korea Zing.
Yeah.
Now the next game was Fukuoka Kataro against Shin Min-jun. Now, obviously, Shin Min-jun is the best player in Korea Zing.
Yeah.
But Fukuoka Kataro, despite being the eighth seed, for Team Japan, he's actually got the best record.
Yeah.
His record prior to this game was 3 wins, 3 losses. He was the only Japanese player without a losing record. So I felt if there was anyone on the team that could beat Shin Min-jun, it would be Fukuoka Kataro. Well, that ended up not being the case. Shin Min-jun had an easy win.
Right.
There was never any question. There was never any doubt about it. No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
That meant that it was 2-1 to Korea Zing. And then it came down to the last. So it came down to the last game, and this was also the last game to finish. Onishi Ryuhei versus Yun Jung-sang. Now, Onishi Ryuhei was definitely the weakest player in this match for Team Japan. He hasn't won a game. He played 3 games before this one, and he lost all 3.
Yeah.
But Yun Jung-sang was also not doing well. He was 1 win, 5 losses.
Yeah.
Prior to this game.
Yeah.
So he was in some pretty bad form as well. The thing is that Onishi Ryuhei needed to win this for Japan to have a chance. And he probably should have won. He was ahead several times in the game.
Right.
But I think in the very end, he lost by half a point.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah. Yes. It says here by half a point. Yeah.
Yes. So he did lose by half a point, but yes, it was a close game. Just not good enough.
Oh wow.
Not good enough in Yosei, I would imagine.
Yeah. Was he in some kind of time trouble as well? And maybe that's why.
I need to look closer at the video because I had to go to sleep before it finished. But
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was in some time trouble.
Yeah.
The boards 3 and 4 start with I think only 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Main time and 20 seconds increment, so it doesn't take too long. To get into time trouble.
Yeah.
But in the end, Yun Jung-sang won, which meant that Korea Zing prevailed 3-1, which meant that not only did Team Japan lose again, but once again they got no points from it.
Yeah. Oh wow. So they still basically only have 2 or ace match to show for it, but they lost both of them. So.
Yes, yeah. So 11 matches and only 2 match points. It's just, I mean, they obviously they have to have, regardless of what their expectations were coming into this league, this has to be below their expectations.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but it's unfortunately, I think that Team Japan will have 4 more matches remaining.
Yep. And
that means only 4 more opportunities to win a match.
Yeah.
And let's hope that they do end up winning one.
Yeah. Which was Fukuoka Kotaro's dream.
Yes. And for those wondering, when will Japan and Taiwan play each other? Well, that's actually going to be one of the last games. The last game, but one of the last games of the regular season. It will be on the 30th of April.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's not for a while, but people may be looking for that one, and that's probably now their best chance of winning a match.
Right. And let's just say it's not going to be easy because I have a feeling that Team Taiwan will bring out their best for that one.
Yes, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if either team were anywhere close to 5th place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Disappointing results for the international teams. But hey, Gaza, that's the Korean League. Is there anything else you want to cover in the Korean scene, Gaza?
I wanted to have a very short discussion
Yeah.
on a topic, something we discussed last week, the co forfeit, the co oopsie.
Yeah. What's happened there?
That's
by maybe remind me what's happened.
So if you recall, there was a game last week.
Yeah.
In the Daeju Cup in Korea, where one of the players, Choi Myung-hun, retook a ko without playing a ko threat.
That's right. Yeah.
And in the end, and he fought, and as a result, he automatically forfeited the game. Forfeit loss.
Yeah.
Now, this incident, this video, has been posted at least 3 times on the Baduk subreddit.
Right.
And every time there's been a discussion asking, why is this a forfeit? Like basically, why does an illegal move mean that the player loses automatically?
Right.
Yeah, you can see this is just a refresher here. So Kim Hyo-min, black, has just taken the ko.
Yeah.
And then Choi Myung-hun, white, retakes it without playing a ko threat.
Yeah.
Choi Myung-hun takes a while to realize that he's made a mistake. And then both immediately realize that the game is now over and that white has forfeited.
Yeah. Now,
this is a known rule in the professional scene that if you make an illegal move, it's a forfeit loss.
Well, but people, it's not true for all rule sets. I do believe in Chinese rule, it's not.
Okay.
I think you only mean to lose one stone, which is 2 points, as far as I know. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, but I believe in Korean and Japanese rules.
Yeah.
It's a forfeit loss, even if the move is bad. Yeah. If it's an illegal move, it's a forfeit loss. For instance, I believe there was one case where a player played a 1 stone suicide.
Right.
So they played their stone in a spot that was completely surrounded by the enemy stones.
Yeah.
Which meant it was a suicide. Which is never a good move because passing is objectively better.
Well, Gaza, just this is not the point of this discussion, of course, but I would imagine that if you do allow suicide, sometimes that's actually extra code threat. So actually, personally, I kind of like it.
No, but extra code threats only works if it's a multi-stone suicide, right?
Right. Yeah.
But this is I'm talking about a single stone suicide.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, a single stone suicide is always bad because passing is objectively better, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't lose it. You do the same thing without losing a stone.
Sure, yeah.
But even then, it's a forfeit loss. Despite the fact that it's a bad move, it's a forfeit loss because it's an illegal move.
Right.
But people were asking, why is it a forfeit loss? And they compared it to chess. Most of the time, they compared it to chess, where it's not a forfeit loss. And I did some research because the comments were giving different information as to what actually happens in chess. So I did my own research.
Sorry, guys, I'm a bit lost, but obviously chess doesn't have codes. So what are we talking about in chess?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking about making an illegal move in chess.
Right, yeah.
So,
okay.
So in Go, there's different ways you can make an illegal move. For instance, you can make a suicide move.
Yeah.
You can retake a ko
Yeah.
without playing a ko threat, or there's even been a case of someone playing a move when it's not their turn.
Yeah.
And in chess, there are different ways to make an illegal move. The most common being making a move when you're in check, but
Yeah.
you don't end up moving out of check.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's one type of illegal move in chess.
Mm.
Now, in chess, I looked up the rules, and if you make an illegal move, the punishment is that your opponent gets 2 minutes extra time.
Right.
And obviously, you have to undo the illegal move and play a legal move.
Yeah.
But the only punishment is that your opponent gets 2 minutes extra time. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are blank, but Gaza, do you know why there's cause for Australians to be banned from international chess tournaments?
No, I don't want to hear this joke again. You've told me this one before. We're not even going to hear the punchline. But I'll give you my thoughts on this rule. Right?
Yeah.
Now, my thoughts are that I don't think that's a good rule because your opponent gets 2 minutes, but in the end, you as the perpetrator of the illegal move get extra time as well because in reality, chess is played face to face. And when an illegal move is made, you have to call over an arbiter and then explain the situation to them, and then they have to add, fix the clock so that you get extra 2 minutes. And during all of that, the clocks are paused.
Yeah.
So even though you made the illegal move during that time, you can think about the position.
So that's like a time suji.
Yeah. So tactically, in some cases, it may actually be beneficial to make an illegal move. For instance, if the position is very complicated and you're struggling you need just that extra minute or so to find the winning or drawing line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in some cases, it may actually be beneficial. Now, note that you can't just keep on doing that in a game. It turns out if you make an illegal move a second time, then you lose the game on forfeit.
Yeah.
But the first time could be tactically. So I don't really like that rule in chess. And the other thing is that in chess, I think illegal moves happen slightly more frequently than in Go.
Right.
It's still very rare, but I have seen it happen, a few times a year in chess, where in Go, it seems to happen only once every few years or so.
Yeah.
So I think it's just not something that's really considered that much in Go because it happens so rarely. But I think it's also because it's so hard to make an illegal move in Go. Almost every move, any random move, almost will end up being legal most of the time.
Right.
And I think it's just expected that professionals will make a legal move.
Yeah.
And so, as such, like not making one is considered significant enough for you to lose the game. But it is an interesting point that is raised. I personally would think it would be fine if you got a penalty where you lose time rather than your opponent gaining time.
Right.
That way, maybe you lose 2 minutes or a Byoyomi period. So that you don't benefit from making the illegal move. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I do remember seeing a video where Magnus Carlsen, of course, the famous chess player, he was moving his pieces, but he can't immediately lost. I think the way he moved his pieces was such that he might be moving his king, and you know how kings can move in all 8 directions. He might have moved it straight, and then switched it to moving diagonally, something like that, and he kind of lost based on that. So I would have thought that if you make I don't know if that falls under the category of illegal moves, or if it's just you're not allowed to the touch move. You're only allowed to move the piece once, so maybe he's kind of moved it twice. Not sure. Maybe that's an immediate lose.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know about that one, but yeah, I'm sure most people would have would know what that video I'm talking about is.
Yeah, Elom says in the chat, an illegal move should be considered a pass. Maybe I would be fine with that.
Yeah,
but then there is the situation of a player making an illegal move. There have been cases of a player moving out of turn, so they move when it's not their turn. So you can't really say that that's a pass because it's not their turn anyway.
Yeah.
So that one's a little bit harder to
to
figure out. But I would say that if you do make a move out of turn, then I do think that's a forfeit. That's just because that's just annoying.
Yeah. So guys, I found the video. So on the white pieces is Magnus Carlsen, and the black pieces I don't know who the other person is, but this is what Magnus Carlsen did, and I believe it's an immediate loss. So let's have a look at the clip. Oh,
what's he doing?
So, so we're moving
fast. They moved the piece. Oh, they moving piece?
Keep looking, Gaza. It hasn't happened yet. Look at the white piece.
Oh, some of the pieces are different shapes.
Yeah, I know, but it's about to happen.
What?
The white piece. Look at the white piece in the middle.
I'm looking.
Yes, that's what happened. Do you see that?
Oh.
So that's and I believe that.
And then someone stood in the way.
Yeah, but I believe this is considered an immediate loss for Carlsen, Magnus Carlsen. This is the video.
Oh no, I don't think it's an immediate loss. I think what happened is he had to stick to his original move.
Right.
And he realized as soon as he made the original move that it was bad, so he tried to move somewhere else.
Yeah. And
then the opponent says, "No, you have to stick to the original move." So then he resigned because the move he made was bad. I think that's what happened.
Okay, so
that's
maybe
called touch move.
Yeah, that might be just that's plausible. Okay, so Gaza, so that's it about the discussion on the rule and whether it should be immediate loss or not. Gaza.
Yes. Now I just want to say the Korea's Strongest League is still ongoing, but there's no significant updates.
Yep.
The Weiqi Construction Cup is still ongoing. No significant updates there.
Yeah.
But one small thing to mention is that the GS Caltex Cup main tournament has started.
Right.
And it starts in the round of 24. There's 24 players. So 8 players get seeded into the round of 16, and that includes all the big guns like Shin Jin So. And 8 more players have to play in the round of 24. So, 16 players. 16 players have to play in the round of 24.
Yeah.
There's 8 games in the round of 24.
Sure. Yep.
So, it's the start of the GS Caltex Cup. Like I said, the Weiqi Construction Cup and the Korea Strongest League are also ongoing, and that's it for the Korean scene.
Okay, awesome, guys. It's time to move to the calendar to have a look at what's happening. Nothing much, I guess. So let's look at the calendar for the next 2 weeks. What's happening there, guys? Anything interesting?
Yes, we have. We've got the Korea Strongest League. Yeah. And we've got the Weiqi Construction Cup.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Very, very nice. Very nice.
Okay. In the Korean League, Taiwan will be returning.
Very nice.
They haven't played in it. They didn't play last week. So they are going to be back. They're playing POSCO Chemicals.
Yes. And in the Chinese scene, the 6th Boss Software New Talent Fight for Hegemony Prelim and Comp Popper.
Oh, this is my favorite tournament, the Boss Software New Talent Fight for Hegemony.
Yeah. Now, some astute viewers may remember that the 5th one has just concluded, and that was because the 5th one was delayed by COVID, and it was won by your favorite player, Wang Xinghao.
Yes.
And just as the 5th one has completed, the 6th one is going to come. So the 6th one is technically tied to the year 2023, and the 5th one, of course, is for year 2022. So Is Longxing gonna win again? Let's see. And of course, you mentioned the Taiwan Mingren. It's gonna happen over here.
Is
on
it?
the Wednesday.
Where?
This might be the Chinese Mingren, not the Taiwan. Then
This is
33rd.
the Chinese Mingren, mate.
Wow, very good. So I just to do a double check, I just turned on all of the and another interesting thing is that the Mlily Taiwan prelim final will be happening on the Friday.
Oh,
So,
very nice.
Yeah, so that's.
Do we have any details on the Mlily prelim outside of China? I don't believe
know.
Korea have done any prelims yet.
Right. So I could see that on the Taiwanese website, the prelim.
Oh, I can see the Taiwanese one. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The Taiwanese. I think it's down to the prelim is down to the last 4. So it's the
That's right.
Familiar names like Lai Junfu, Lin Junyan, Ling Lishan, Chen Qirui. Curiously, Xu Haohong is not there, but
Zhu Haohong. That's I can explain why. Zhu Haohong is seeded. Taiwan get a seed.
Very nice.
One thing that I can't explain is where Wang Wanjun is. He doesn't seem to have even participated in the prelim. Either that, or he didn't get very far. But
right, yeah,
a bit confused with that one.
Not really sure. I bet there must be a prelim before this, because when I looked at this table, it does say that Xu Haohong has already made it, and I'm not sure where Wang Yuanjun is. I guess he should be there, just by merit, but he's not. I don't know.
Yes.
So maybe it's somewhere in here in this article. But that's it for Taiwan. And
we won't find out about the Japan ones for because until they basically announce it, because they don't really cover the prelims very well.
Right.
But for the Korean ones, we'll find out when the prelims are. And I'll have to even check how many seeded players Korea gets as well.
Yeah.
There'll definitely be a few, and Shinjin, so we can guarantee will be a seed.
Yeah. Well, when the articles comes out, I'm sure it'll be posted on the relevant websites, and we can check then. So Gaza, thank you for another week and another awesome episode where you talked us through the Korean League scene. That was very interesting. Thank you very much.
Yes, 50 episodes.
50 episodes. Can't wait. Is the next one going to be the special one, Gaza?
Next one will be a special one. I'm going to have to discuss this with you offline.
Right.
To organize it, but it's going to be a special episode next Saturday.
Yes,
sure.
Next Saturday. So I guess we'll see everyone then. All right. Time to say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.